Hello viewers, welcome to the live interactive program of CIET NCERT that you are watching on Kishore Manch channel of SWAYAM Prabha. Some of you are also watching us live on our YouTube channel NCERT official, where you can start a discussion down in the live chat. You can also reach out to us with your questions and queries at ciet.kishoremanch@gmail.com and reach out to us at the toll-free numbers that are given below in the strip. Viewers are staying at home, staying safe, and we are not stopping our studies. We are not stopping to learn. And moreover, we are starting to learn more about our environment, more about our surroundings, and we are become more cautious towards the things that go on around us. We are trying to save more and think about the various forms of energy that is around us. We are trying to conserve more, and regarding that, there will be a discussion today and more about what is there in the textbook of class 10th, because our viewers are always worried that this session is about which topics. So I'm going to tell you that this discussion is going to be about class 10th social science. The topic will be resources and sustainable development, and our next topic will be about Sanskrit, and class 10th session will be this from Shemushi book, and the session will start at 9:45 a.m. and then we will proceed towards primary sessions at 10:30 a.m. And now let's begin this session and talk about resources and sustainable development with Professor Aparna Pandey. Ma'am, we welcome you to the studio.
Thank you.
Ma'am, so before we move towards our topic, why don't we start with this discussion that what is the theme and studying topics of geography at class 10th?
Yes, in class 10th, as you asked that why do we study this topic in class 10th?
Right.
In class 10th, topic is, the theme is contemporary India. Actually, contemporary India is a theme for secondary stage, for classes 9th and 10th. In class 9th, we focus on physical geography of India, when we teach about different landforms, drainage, climate, vegetation, because our countries are diverse and a student must know about different types of landforms, climate, drainage, whatever is found in our country, as well as people, distribution of people in different parts of the country. In class 10th, we have focused on resources and development. If you do not have an understanding of physiography of India, climate of India, vegetation of India, then you will not be able to understand different types of resources and about these natural and human-made resources which are found in different parts of the country. And it is not necessary that after passing class 10th you are going to opt for geography at +2 level. But as a citizen of India, you must know about your own country, its physical features, its human-made features, its resources. And in class 10th we have focused on distribution of different resources, whether these are natural or human-made resources, and their conservation, because their conservation is very important. And in different chapters we have discussed about agriculture, minerals or water resources and their conservation. So this is the theme of class 10th geography textbook, and it's not necessary that you are studying only NCERT textbooks. If you are reading any other state board textbooks, but you must know about your own country, resources which are found in your own country and how to conserve these resources. So we are going to discuss about these things during this session.
Right, ma'am. And you are using this word again and again, resources. This makes us curious, ma'am. What are resources? What are we talking about here?
Rakshit, if I will ask you what are resources, what will you say?
Ma'am, if I'm talking to you right now, my computer is my resource to reach out to you. My headphone is what I'm wearing and what I'm talking you through. So these are my resources right now.
Things which we are using in our daily life. These are our resources. Whether we are using computer, whether we are using internet, or whether we are using camera or pen, pencil, whatever things which we are using, these are our resources.
Right, ma'am.
This is true. There are things which we are using daily life or sometime, then these are called resources. But here I would like to quote Zimmerman. He was an economist. He said in 1930s, he was an economist, he was born in Germany, but he had taught economics in different universities of the USA. He said, resources are not, they become. What does it mean? Whatever things which are found on the earth, they are not fixed. They merely not exist somewhere. What human beings do, we just observe, we examine these resources, these things, and try to develop scientific knowledge, technology, and convert these things into useful commodities. We are transforming these things into useful commodities. Here I would like to say that in history we study about early man, we study about Stone Age. More than 10,000 years back, we study that humans were using stones for different purposes, whether as weapons or for different utensils or for different purposes, they were using these things. And then we study about Bronze Age. Then humans started using copper and tin and developed the utensils or different coins, currencies, utensils, weapons. They started using these things. How it is possible? Because we developed some scientific knowledge, technology, and we started using same thing in with different purposes. Then we study about Iron Age. We started using iron. So all these, whether this is iron, copper, tin, they were also available during Stone Age. But we didn't have any understanding, we didn't have scientific knowledge, we didn't have technology to use these resources, to transform these resources in different commodities. These internet, you said internet, you are using internet, but 50 years back we didn't know about this technology. In 1990s, this WWW, the World Wide Web, we started using this. So how this technology is converting the same thing for different purposes. Water was also available, but we just developed, we used scientific knowledge and technology, we are using this hydro power. Coal is being used for thermal power. So how? Because same thing was available at different times, but we are using our knowledge, technical know-how, and we are transforming these things into useful commodities.
Right, ma'am. And we see around us, ma'am, that there are all kinds of resources. Like we have talked about this mobile, telecom, internet, mobile phone and laptop, whatever there is in technology. Then there is power plants and hydropower you talked about, and you talked about even water and other things. There are, we use as resources. They could be categorized in a number of things. We worry, what could they be?
Yes, and yes, resources may be classified into different categories. Before that, I would like to show this slide. This slide where this triangle is shown. One side it is written physical environment, then technology, and then one side it is written institutions, and human beings is also written in the center. So human beings, what human beings do? They use this technology, and with the help of this technology they interact with physical environment. They create institutions, different institutions are created. Why these institutions are created? To develop these natural resources. And when natural resources or different types of resources will be developed, then only we can accelerate economic development. So all these physical environment, technology and institutions, they interact among themselves. So this we should know before understanding the classification of different resources. Now you have asked how resources may be classified into different categories. on this screen you can see that resources are divided into two categories. First, natural and human. Natural means which are found in our surroundings, whether these are water or sun rays or air, these are natural resources.
Right, ma'am.
And natural resources are further divided into renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources which may be produced, reproduced by mechanical, physical or chemical process.
Okay.
So these are called renewable resources, like forests. This is renewable resource. Air, this is renewable resource. Then non-renewable resources which cannot be reproduced by these processes. So can you give any example of non-renewable resource?
Ma'am,
You might have studied in class 10th. You had class 10th pass, isn't it?
Ma'am, our viewers have responded. They say petroleum could be non-renewable.
Yes, very good. This is correct.
And coal?
Coal is non-renewable resource, because this topic is given in class 8 also, in class 8 geography textbook, and in science also they study about different types of resources. So it's very good they have understanding of renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Then if human resources may be divided into structures and institutions and quantity and quality. So can you ask viewers to give examples of quantity and quality when we ask human resources?
Okay, viewers, you have heard your task. Ma'am has asked you which are the resources that you think are based on quantity and quality. They are classified on the basis of quantity and quality. Name them while we move with the discussion.
Yes. Then next, again, renewable resources can be classified into continuous or flow. Continuous or flow, which resources which are not going to finish in near future. What are these resources? These are continuous. Can you give any example, like water, air, sun rays? These are also called as continuous or flow resources. And then biological resources. These biological resources are like natural vegetation and wildlife. So flora and fauna come under biological resources. Did you get answer from your viewers?
Not yet, ma'am. There might be internet lag, but we are waiting for it.
Okay. Then non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources may be classified into recyclable resources and non-recyclable resources. What are recyclable resources? Which can be used again and again. Yes, sorry.
Ma'am, I said those we can reuse.
Yes, we can reuse. What are these recycled resources?
Recyclable resources.
Yes, what are these?
Ma'am, a viewer has said plastic. Could it be recyclable?
Plastic, recycled. Okay, yes, then?
I would say, ma'am, paper could be recycled, reused.
Okay, anything else?
We are waiting for the replies, ma'am.
Yes, recyclable, like you can give examples of metallic minerals also, like iron ore, copper. We can develop copper wires, we can develop utensils, so this can be recycled. Then non-recyclable resources which if we will use, they will get deplete. So what are these resources? These are fossil fuels. Coal. If you will burn coal, can you recycle it? Can you reuse it?
So.
We cannot use. It means that some resources are non-recyclable and some resources are recyclable. So when we, I think if students are not able to give answer of these human resources, then we can tell them that quantity and quality. When we talk about humans, humans are also known as resources, very important resource, because we transform these things into useful commodities. So, humans are the most important resources, and quantity means population, of humans. This is called quantity, and quality means whether these are skilled or unskilled.
Right, ma'am.
So, which country will be developed? Where more and more skilled persons will be there.
Okay.
So, development of resources, when we are talking about development of resources, development of natural resources as well as human resources are required. Is it clear?
Right, ma'am. Very clear.
So, again, when we talk about classification of resources, students might have studied in other classes also, and again we can categorize these like based on origin. How? Origin, whether these are biotic resources or abiotic resources. Biotic resources means?
Biotic resources, those, ma'am, are organically available in nature?
Yes, they have life. Whether these are vegetation, aquatic animals, or human beings, whether they are living on the lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, they are living in the biosphere. So, these are known as biotic resources. Abiotic resources like rocks and minerals, they may be known as abiotic resources. Then next is exhaustibility. We just talked about recyclable and non-recyclable resources. So, on the basis of exhaustibility, these resources may be categorized into renewable and non-renewable, which we have discussed just now. On the basis of ownership, sometimes we say this is my house, this is my area, this is my garden, this is my land, this is my agriculture field. And there are some parks in the colony, some pasture lands are there, grazing lands are there. They are owned by, they are not owned by individual, they are owned by either community. There may be, if you have well in your own house, then you can say this is my own property.
Right.
Individual's property. But if there is some well in the near community area, near any park or any ground, where all people, they can sit, they can fetch water, or ponds, then this is called community resources. This is not individual's property.
Okay.
Then national resources. There are some resources which are called national resources. Can you give any example of national resources?
Ma'am, I could guess of a lot of things like our water boundaries, our airspace maybe.
Yes, water,
our
rivers,
forests.
These are national resources. You can simply give an example of roads, railways.
Right.
These are also
Right,
resources, but these are national resources. Mines are there. We extract mines, whether coal or metallic minerals or quarrying, all these are national resources.
National resources.
Even sometimes you cannot say this is my individual property. If government wants to construct any road, government wants to construct railway line, they can take your land. Though you will get compensation, but you cannot say that I will not sell, I will not give. You will have to give. If government is going to build a dam or any for the country, then you will have to give your land.
Right, ma'am.
So in that sense, you cannot say this is my property. If government wants for some reason for the development of any national project, then they can take your property and will give you some money for that. Then international resources. There are some international organizations which regulate and which control some resources, and they develop some laws. According to that, all countries will have to extract resources. Like sometimes we read about open sea fishing, overfishing. There are disputes among different countries. So there are some international organizations and they just make some laws. According to that, we will be able to extract resources. And you might be knowing that in we have some terrestrial seawater. Terrestrial seawater, what does it mean? That about 1200 to 12 nautical miles from the coastline. This is called terrestrial water. 12 nautical miles mean, because in sea 12 nautical miles. Nautical miles. What does it mean? When we measure distance in sea,
yes,
then we just say that we measure it in nautical miles. So about 12 nautical miles area from the coastal region, from our coast, is known as terrestrial water boundary. So this come under, so we can extract materials from there. But after that, it comes
beyond
under, yes, after that, if about 200 nautical miles is known as EEZ, exclusive economic zone. So you can ask your viewers to search about exclusive economic zone also. So this is also a very important term, and the student of class 10th, you must know that what is exclusive economic zone.
Right, ma'am. I will also work on it and learn more about it, and we will talk about it in our next session maybe. But now, are we done with the classification of resources?
Yes, classification of resources. On the basis of a status also, resources may be classified. Sometimes we say that this is potential resource. These are called as reserve. These are called as developed resources. Some resources are known as stock. We are not using, this time we are not using, but in future we can use these resources. So on the basis of their development, these resources are also divided into 4 categories. So this is the classification of resource which we must know, and their distribution in different, because distribution of these resources are uneven. Distribution is not even all these metallic resources, because if you don't know the physiography of India, physical features of India, then you will not be able to understand why coal is found only in Jharkhand and not in Uttar Pradesh or Bihar. Why these rainforests are found only in western Ghats and northeastern region of India, not in any other parts of the country. You must have an understanding of physiography of any area, climatic regions of the country, then only you will be able to relate distribution of resources with the physiography, with the climatic conditions.
Right, ma'am. I think we have cleared our grounds about classification of resources, and our viewers understand that these resources are used for development of our country. But then we talk about sustainable development, ma'am. Can you please tell us about that?
Yes, sustainable development, because I would like to show this screen about sustainable development, which talks that development should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of the future generations. This definition of sustainable development was given by the Brundtland Commission report. The Brundtland Commission report gave this definition in 1987, when this commission published its report in the name of Our Common Future. When we talk about any concept or any definition or any theme, and when I say Brundtland Commission report, we must know who was Brundtland. Brundtland was Prime Minister of Norway, and she was given this responsibility to work in this area because by the United Nations. United Nations had formed this commission, Brundtland Commission, and they published this report in the name of Our Common Future. Because everyone at that time we were thinking, all nations, this environmental degradation was a big issue. And they said, because we are using these resources unmindfully, we are just exploiting these resources without thinking. And because of this reason, resources are accumulated in few hands. And society has been divided into haves and have-nots. Whether we are talking about individuals, whether we are talking about any society, or we are talking about any country. Resources are accumulated by some countries, and some countries are facing scarcity. In societies also you can see that some resources are, most of the resources are accumulated in few hands. They are using all types of resources, and some others they are not even able to get food. They are suffering from malnutrition. Children are suffering from malnutrition, and another group where we see the children are facing the problem of obesity. They have become obese. So why is it so? Why we are, because resources are not distributed judiciously.
Right.
There should be equal distribution. There should be judiciously, they should be used by the society. We are facing the problem of climate change. Why? Why we are facing the problem of climate change? Environmental degradation. The root cause of this problem is because we are using these resources indiscriminately, without thinking what will happen to how these resources will be utilized by our future generation, what is going to happen. And since then, the first Earth Summit was held in 1992 in Rio de Janeiro, and this summit was attended by several heads of different nations, about more than 100 these leaders attended this conference, which was held in Brazil. And after that, you will hear that several conferences, international conferences are being held in different parts of the world. What they are talking about? They are talking about environmental degradation, they are talking about climate change, how to combat environmental degradation, how to combat climate change. So, why these things are prevalent? Because we are using these resources not properly.
Not judiciously?
Not judiciously, not properly. Sometimes we just extract minerals and mines are abandoned, because if minerals are not there, these mines are left open. Sometimes, if I would like to give some examples, then students will be able to understand this concept of sustainable development. Like in agriculture, what we do, agriculture is also a resource. Soil is very important resource. Soil is a renewable resource, but it takes millions of years in its formation. When I am talking about formation, only few centimeter layer, deep layer of soil takes millions of years in formation.
Wow.
And we know that upper layer of the soil is the most fertile soil. All nutrients are found in the upper layer of the soil,
Right.
which we use for planting trees or agriculture for different purposes. When we cut forests, what happens? You may tell me.
Deforestation,
Deforestation leads to
soil erosion.
soil erosion, soil degradation. When we in agriculture, if we want to increase production, what we do? We use chemical fertilizers, we use pesticides. What happens? We increase the production. But gradually what happens? Fertility of soil decreases. And after some years, this land, this soil will not be able to use for agriculture production. So what we have done during our time, during our lifetime, we have used this soil to increase production. But after 50 years or 30 years, when next generation will come, will they be able to grow food crops in that soil? It will not be possible, though soil is a renewable resource. But we know that some renewable resources, this soil takes very long time in formation, because it is formed from weathered rocks, from natural process, from physical process. So it takes a long time. Therefore,
so even though, ma'am, it's a renewable resources, we should be careful about it to not exploit it beyond extent.
Yes, very true. When we say that coal is non-renewable resource, this coal is non-renewable resource. Why do we say? Because it takes very long time. After using coal, it gets exhausted, it's finished. We cannot reuse coal. And for coal also, it takes very long time. You know how coal is formed, these fossil fuels are formed.
Right.
The petroleum is formed, developed.
Right.
So it takes in sedimentary rock, so it takes a very long time. So we should be very careful, we should be very sensitive towards the use of these resources, whether these are natural resources or human made resources. We are very careful if we develop, if we have very computer, we think that no, computer should be used very carefully. But similarly, if we are just doing agriculture or some other, we are interacting with nature, we should be very careful. We are not plucking plants, we are not plucking leaves. Why? If you will pluck all the leaves, then what will happen? The plant will not be able to survive. So, since very beginning, since childhood, this sensitivity must be developed among the students towards nature, towards judicial utilization of resources. That is why we say that you should switch off lights after using. If you are leaving the room, you should switch off fans, you should switch off lights. From primary classes, we just teach these to our students. When we are, don't throw food. Consumption should not be like when we say that you should consume food, but don't throw it, because you must know there are some people, they are not able to get food 2 times in a day. Why? So you must be sensitive that you are just throwing, you are not eating properly. So these are also resources, they are very important resources. So consumption of resources, when we talk, then you should be very sensitive, and these are the values which we should inculcate among students through the subject, through our education. I would like to this figure I would like to show on the screen, which shows that 43% of land under plains in India, 30% under mountains, and 27% plateaus. You know that in mountains we find different types of vegetation, perennial rivers, the source of origin. Then these the plains are known for all types of development, whether it's agriculture or industrial or transport, all types of economic development you can see in plains. And plateaus are rich in minerals, but these are limited. We cannot increase these areas. But in plains, what we are doing, even in mountainous area or plateaus, what we are doing for development of buildings, development, construction work, we are converting lands, forest land into residential areas, industrial areas. This is also important. Industrial areas are also important. Residential areas are also important, but these fertile lands should not be converted into industrial areas or residential areas, because fertile land is being used for growing crops. Yes, this I would like to show on the screen, that Gandhiji has said that there is enough for everybody's need and not for everybody's greed.
Wow.
It's true. And its impact of this can be seen on the report on our common future. Because we have common future, all humans have common future. We have common interest, whether we are living in any part of the world. We have common interest, because we have, if climate change is taking place, and this impact of climate change can be seen anywhere on the world. We cannot say that we are developed, we will not be able to, we will not be affected by climate change. Everybody will be affected by climate change. Like nowadays, everybody is affected by this COVID-19.
Right, ma'am.
From local to global, this local phenomena has affected the global.
Right, ma'am.
So, this because our need is limited, but greed is endless. So, what we have to control? We have to control our greed. We have, so these things, whenever we discuss any resource, when we discuss about any topic in the classroom, I request all teachers that try to discuss about different personalities, about their views, what they have said about it. Then students will be able to take interest in the topic. Try to relate these things with the thinkings and ideas which our authors, which our great saints have said about these things, about resources, about our earth, and in our scriptures also these things have been discussed.
Ma'am, a great deal of admiration I can see in the comments about Gandhiji's quote that you just read, and about our history, that how we have been always cautious about our nature, our environment, and we have been always respectful. We considered them as deities, and we have been trying to conserve them in the past, and now we need to do the same thing for a sustainable development. Ma'am, we have 5 minutes more, so could you please tell something more about sustainable development?
Yes, I would like to ask students to do some work during these days. What they will do, with the help of mental map, I am just saying mental map. They know about their own area, they have understanding of their surroundings. Make a list, and in that list you will have to write down the resources, whether these are natural resources or human resources, which are found in your state, which are found in your area, and which resources are found in abundance, and if there is a scarcity of some resources, note down that also, and share with your teacher, or you can share among other students through email or WhatsApp. So, this work you can do. Another work also you can do, because we know that there are some areas which are called as resource rich areas, and you can identify these areas. You can consult Atlas. You have studied in class 9 also different types, classify different types of resources, and then make a list of different resources, identify which areas are resource rich areas. And though they are resource rich, but they are economically poor. And why is it so? Why these areas are called resource rich region, but they are economically poor? Right. So, you will have to, for that you can take example from your own area, you can take example from different parts of the country, I can give you one example that in some areas, I will not tell the name of the area, in some areas water resources are there in abundance, but these have not been utilized for development of hydroelectricity. So what are the reasons? Still we could not develop these water resources, we could not utilize these water resources for generating hydroelectricity. There are some regions where metallic minerals and then other minerals, rock minerals are found, industries are also found, but these areas are not known as a very economically developed areas.
Right.
Some pockets have been developed, but whole region, whole area has not been developed. So what are the reasons why these areas have not been developed? There are some regions where transport facilities have not been developed. Why? What are the reasons? Whether physiography is responsible for that. So you will have to identify what type of physiography is found in that area. So at this time you can use maps of India, physiography relief maps of India, and maps which are showing resources, their distribution, and see and collect information from newspaper, magazines or from internet, and just prepare a write-up. Why such areas are not yet developed? What are the reasons? And share with your friends. So
Right,
I think then only you will be, when you will share with your friends, then because your friend will write about different region, you will write different regions, and then
You
your
can share and
understanding
learn
will
about
be
it, ma'am.
developed.
Right, ma'am.
So I think two assignments are quite
More than enough, ma'am.
more than enough.
I think
Yes, there
it'll
will
take
be,
enough time, ma'am.
yes.
So, viewers, you can send us this task that ma'am has given to you. You can take screenshots of your work and mail it to us at ciet.kishoremanch@gmail.com. In today's session of Resources and Sustainable Development for Class 10th, we have learned about what are resources, and then how can we categorize those resources. We have also learned about sustainable development, and we have seen some examples of sustainable development. Ma'am has talked about it in detail and how we can be more sensitive towards our natural resources and how we can proceed forward and leave something in small parts even though, but for our future generations, we can keep those things for us. And that is sustainable development session for us today. Ma'am, you joined us today and taught us so well about resources and sustainable development. Thank you so much, ma'am. And viewers, for you, we will bring a program of Sanskrit language for class 10th, Shemushi Part 2. Please wait for that. Keep watching Kishore Manch.